Let me first of all start by asking, sir, you've called for a complete overhaul of Nigeria's security architecture. What key weaknesses make the current system ineffective, and what immediate reforms will you want prioritized at this point in time, sir?
Now, at least I've lived in Nigeria since our independence in 1960. And what I've observed is that on independence, we just took over what the British handed to us as an architecture of our safety and security system. We have to differentiate between safety and security. Example is when embassies are warning, they tell you, don't come to Nigeria, it's not safe. What do they mean by that? It means that, for example, you cannot come to Lagos and walk about some areas of Lagos or something of that nature. Okay. Therefore, you need agencies that are particularly focused on providing that safety measures that you need. And that is why safety is from the bottom up. Okay? And that's why, since safety is bottom up, you need local police. You need state police. Because you should focus on prevention of crime than for crime to be committed. Okay. But what has happened is that Nigerian Army and Nigerian Police started from Nigerian Constabulary. They were divided into Army and the police. Army, they added the Air Force and the Navy. Police, they added the mobile police. Those are reviewing of architecture. But they were doing it because the British have that sort of architecture. So we just copy. Since that time, we have not sat down to say, okay, within our own context, and regularly to review, like they do in other places, that architecture. So what we do is that we just give police more responsibilities. The military take over the job of the police. Then you create another agency, civil defense. You create NEMA, road safety. How do they become an integrated? The whole essence of agriculture is to build a structure.
Exactly.
And if you don't get the foundation right, when the architect gives you something is wrong, the building will collapse. And not only that, no architect will tell you, no matter the expertise of that architect, will tell you that every building is constructed according to the architecture. There are adjustments here and there as they build. That is why people are crying for a review of the architecture. Look at the foundation. In the foundation, what you need for modern day safety, in the foundation, what you need for security. When you talk about security, leave other aspect of food security, that security, leave other aspect. Security means that your territory is safe from invasion by people who are either envious or do not like you or something. But if you look at it, who is invading Nigeria? Who? Niger? Benin Republic? Then, who is invading Nigeria? So if you don't have that sort of situation of invasion, safety becomes your priority. Safety becomes your priority. Okay. And therefore, your military must be ready to make sure that your country is safe, but not to take over the responsibility of the safety agencies. You see the picture.
So, General Sir, you believe that the military should focus on territorial defense, leaving banditry to the mobile police. How should this shift in responsibility, sir, be structured, and what resources or training will the mobile police need in order to succeed in this regard?
See, mobile police right now, they have counter-terrorism units.
Yes.
They have counter-robbery units. They have cyber security and everything. So, what I've suggested for the last 10 years is this. The police is divided into three. Mobile police was created separately before. So, mobile police become the paramilitary force agency, with a commandant general, like you have of customs and immigration. And anti-terrorism, anti-armed robbery, anti-kidnapping, that will be their responsibility. Separate command, just like customs and immigration. Then you have crime intelligence and criminal investigation. At the national level, you have a director general, just like we have for DSS. Okay. That crime intelligence is to back up the state police. It's to back up the state police and coordinate all the crime intelligence all over the country and be able to feed information to all the state police. Say, for example, they are not crying that some people are coming from the north and things like that. If you have a crime intelligence section at national level, they'll be able to confirm whether all the crime they are making in the Southwest is true or not. And since there are also investigation, they can also help the state with investigation, just like the FBI does in the United States.
General, you've criticized northern governors for failing to address issues like the Almajiri system and their collusion with bandits. What specific actions should governors take to demonstrate accountability and leadership?
See, one of the greatest challenge we have in Africa is that the followers themselves do not demand accountability. So, why should the governor bother about accountability? The followers do not demand. Every time people get killed in any of the states, the governor say, "Oh, we are sorry, we'll give you money, we'll give you this." After about 2 months, another set of people get killed. Are they goats or sheep? And the people, and one funny governor said one time, it was God's will that people should be killed. Can you imagine that? Transferring its responsibility to God or to Allah. Okay, so, second thing, except for Katsina, most of them rejected state police when the Southwest governors were forming Amotekun. Malami at that time said we were going to take them to court. And I said in an interview that anybody's bothering his head about Malami must be a non-thinker because there was a need. Today, who will say that Amotekun is not working? Nobody. Now, They form vigilante and hunters group.
Yes.
How can hunter and them? It's a funny, it's a joke. So the other day, about 20 of them were killed in Casina. You don't think it's a joke? You need a functional force.
Now, you also mentioned the fact that the traditional rulers may have been colluding with bandits, as seen in the case of Bello Toji's Tobani. How can the government address the influence of traditional rulers who are, in collusion with bandits?
Now, this is another issue we are not taking seriously in Nigeria. When India got independence, the first thing the Prime Minister of India did was to scrap all traditional institutions. On the other hand, in South Africa, because they are Africans and they know the role of traditional rulers, what they did was to develop a principle of what they call cooperative governance, which means between the elected governors and the traditional governors. Two, they did not treat traditional governors like public servants. Everything is set out in their constitution and their role in judiciary, in the judicial system, sustainable development, etc., culture, etc., etc. Okay? And the people in the various ethnic groups, Zulu, Xhosa, Swana, Soto, demanded that the traditional governors be respected. Okay, so no government can fool around with them. In Nigeria, our traditional governance has become tools in the hand of the politicians. And then, secondly, too, we are just creating emirs and obas and obis and others, like, like in Lagos, every street has an oba. Then you see one funny signboard, the palace of Oba. They are making a joke of the whole thing. Okay. Hopefully, the Department of Local Government Studies at Ahmadu Bello University is working on organizing a conference with Bereft on this issue of cooperative governance. I hope we are going to look at it seriously as we are looking at it in Bereft, because all these universities organize conferences at that day. No policy paper, no policy brief. Okay, so I hope they will do that. But what I would like to see is, like you have asked correctly, can we look at the South African system and see what happens? Now, another interesting system is in Asia, in Malaysia.
Okay.
They have sultans in each state. And what happens is that every 5 years, all the sultans come together and vote for one of the sultans to become the king of Malaysia, who is the head of state. So they rotate it by election. Every head of state, he becomes the head of state, and Malaysia has a prime minister. And the king has some powers. So there are so many models that you can use. But what will happen with this is that, except for the king of Malaysia, the government does not pay any sultan. The people themselves. So, if you are not a civil servant, what controllers you going to go to buy? There are so many ethnic groups in Nigeria. Are you telling me the people of Malaysia cannot come together and pay their Oba? Or the people of Ijebu? Most of the new Obas now are rich businessmen. So, and they know how they got to be Oba. You see? So the point is this is that these are serious issues, but Nigeria just don't bother. The system continues to deteriorate, and we continue to write in newspapers, talk and things like that. Nobody's taking any action. But action needed to be taken. You see, that's it.
You mentioned claims of collusion between security agencies and bandits.
The what?
Collusion between security agencies and bandits. How should such allegations be investigated? What safeguards can prevent future collusion, sir?
It looks as if you have not been following Sheikh Gumi. Sheikh Gumi himself said openly that he had gone with security agencies to where the bandits and kidnappers are in the forest. He said it openly. People were shouting, arrest Sheikh Gumi, DSS invited him. They released him, and DSS said he had provided very good information. So it is not me, it is him who says so. What I would have liked is this is that the government has a nomadic commission. Because one of the complaints of the bandits and the Fulanis and whatever ethnic group they belong to say is that there's no development in their areas. So there's a nomadic commission set by federal government years ago. There's all these agencies for literacy and things like that. Let Sheikh Gumi become the executive chairman of the nomadic commission. And let government give him funds. And let us see what perform. Secondly, the government is creating zonal development commission. They have created one for Southwest now. They have for Northeast and so on. Let him work with those development commission in the Northeast, Northwest, and so on. Let him work with them. And let's see whether they can change the whole thing. So, if you take care of the non-connected side, then leave the military. Now, because of the role money is playing in our lives today, it is difficult to stop this collusion. But then, nobody has taken the action against our banks. Nobody. Recently, the federal government said they are going to stop banks from assessing forex. Why? Because they were not paying telephone companies the money they were collecting. Can you do the same too for those who are collecting ransom? Can you do the same? So if somebody comes to your bank and withdraws 200 million to go and pay for ransom, and you don't inform the police, something is wrong. Something's wrong. So, well, it just appears that most of the things that happen seems to be deliberate. From what I'm saying, for what's happening.
Those are shocking. Nigerians were appalled at the recent killing on Sunday of 40 farmers. Nigerians were appalled by the recent killings of 40 farmers in Borno by Boko Haram bandits. You've argued that Boko Haram's operations are not insurmountable. What strategies or intelligence upgrades do you think will be most effective in neutralizing their threats?
I'm happy that you mentioned intelligence. That's part of the security review now. That's part of the architecture review, because intelligence is the foundation. Now, we have DSS. We have National Intelligence Agency. We have Defense Intelligence Agency. Every single service, Army, Navy, Air Force, they have generals in charge of intelligence. Civil defense. All these people have intelligence with senior officers in charge. What are they doing?
So are they no longer fit for purpose, sir?
What are they doing? What are they doing? When when you are told that they don't know where the money for Boko Haram is coming from, with all this intelligence system, you know, in other places, the NSA, who is supposed to connect, they will resign.
Honestly.
He will resign. They will resign. You see, nobody takes any responsibility in Nigeria. Nobody. From the president down. And it's because the president himself does not sack anybody that does not live up to date. I'll give you an example. In Togo, within 3 months, the president sacked the chief of defense staff.
Exactly.
He sacked 2 chief of defense staff within 3 months. The one that came in now is very serious. Within 3 months. But in our own case, nobody's ever sacked. In fact, Buhari kept people for 6 years. For 6 years. And he was not aware of what was going on. No. We, the followership in Nigeria, something is wrong with us.
That's a serious one. Now, you've called for greater accountability on Boko Haram's funding and their supply chain. We would like to hear from you, sir. What specific steps should these intelligence agencies take to uncover and disrupt these networks?
No, wait. That's, like so many have said, right from the time of General Azazi, that there are some people in government who are backing Boko Haram. And many of them are known. But the government has refused to take action. There's a DG of the SS who has left now. He was sent with plenty of money to negotiate with Boko Haram abroad.
Exactly.
Press abroad reported that some of the money disappeared into banks. It was well known. The government here kept quiet. The DG just left very quietly with that amount of money. With that amount. So you really find a DG in Nigeria for NIA or for DSS who is not rich in naira and dollars. Very rare. And where did they get the money from? So that's a situation. That's why anybody who's a serious thinker, we believe that, and if the president does not want to take action, that's left to him. That there are people who do not want the Boko Haram insurgency to end. Recently, the Minister of State for Defense, Matawale, went to this thing and said they needed 50. They should just give them 50 APCs, armor personnel carrier, and Boko Haram is finished. He's talking crap. The members of the House did not ask him, how many have you got at present working? How many need repairs? How many cannot be repaired? Nobody's asking those questions. We just continue to spend money on equipment like drunken sailors. The Air Force keep buying sophisticated. The story of a hammer killing a fly. And what do you see? They fly. People continue to complain that they are killing civilians. What our Air Force needs is close air support aircraft. And there are far cheaper and more functional ones. and they know, instead of all the sophisticated ones, which they cannot maintain. Maybe they're having problems planning it. We are behaving like a tribe that lot is said. And it's fault of the people. People don't worry. The military veterans had to go on strike on many occasions, block up. They kept telling lies that they are going to pay them, including me. And just recently, the Minister of Finance now went to the House to say, we need more money to pay these people. How were you lying before? That means they not even include it in the 2025 budget. That means that there's something wrong with our budgeting system. So how can you be doing it, trying to improve governance, and your budgeting system is not up to the modern standard? You are still using historical budgeting. How come? There are so many things we do that is shameful, and we think we are running a modern governance system. How come? Don't go to NAS and say, oh, we need money now to pay this material. It won't happen anywhere in the world. It won't happen.
Sir, let's look at broader solutions and pragmatic security strategies.
The what, sorry?
Broader solutions to these issues. You've advocated for a pragmatic approach to tackling insecurity. What will a realistic short-term plan look like? And how should the government prioritize its resources?
No, the short-term plan is that even if you want to build a house in the hurry, you must have a plan.
Yes.
So, you need a plan first. That plan is the architecture. And then, you then use it to say, okay, all these security agencies and so on and so forth, how do they fit into this plan? You can do that within 6 months. You can do that within 6 months. For example, I've said about the police, how you can separate the police and what they can do.
Exactly.
I need to add that in particular of police, you need somebody at the federal level who will ensure that all state and local government police have the same standard, the same training, the same system, and so on. Okay? And to provide feedback at the Ministry of Internal Affairs to make sure that these standards are maintained. And the question should empower the federal government, if any state police or local government police go out of hand, to sanction that and take over. Okay, so all those ones can be sorted out. Okay. Once you can do that, and the preventive side of policing, which is very important for public safety, will be taken care of completely. Okay, so the deterrent side of policing will be taken care of. Now, when it comes to compellence, well, you need to use force. Depending on the type of force, that time you need to bring paramilitary police.
I would like to get your response to a recent statement credited to the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, about a recent call he made that there was international flow of funding for the terrorists and the need for the United Nations to come in to trace and track it. I'd like you to speak to this statement.
No, he was wrong. United Nations replied him now that it's not the business of United Nations. If not, they'll be doing the same thing all over the world. United Nations got intelligence system, intelligence structures, or agencies to do all that. And then Musa himself forgot. There's a colleague of yours, a journalist, who ran away from Nigeria to Dubai, who said he knew those who were funding. And I think UAE government or Dubai government at that time sort of backed him up. Okay? And I think the chap was arrested or something, if I can remember. After they released him, he ran back. And that was the end of the story. On many occasions, they will tell us that DSS, police, they caught people who are funding Boko Haram. Some were detained one time. They told Malami, can you tell us the names of those detained? He refused. Okay. When are you going to take them to court? He refused. What are they now? He has left now for many years. What are those people? Malami himself was behaving like a crook. Okay. So you then ask yourself, are we serious? Now, there's one time the jail in Abuja,
Exactly, Kuje percent.
how many were recaptured? Everybody has kept quiet. Wonderful country. A country of impunity, a country of people without conscience in position, a country of people without integrity. At the Ganifa Amy event, please go and read what Emma Sanusi said. He said people surrounding the president have no credibility. He said also, they know me, I know them, we are friends, but they have no credibility. And I won't waste my time talking to them. Do I need to say more?
That's serious. Finally, sir, many Nigerians distrust the Nigerian security agencies due to their corruption and inefficiency. How can this government rebuild public trust and foster cooperation in the fight against insecurity and insurgency, sir?
No. You see, everything comes about the review. If you divide the police now into 3 areas, the trust you're looking for should be rested in state and local government police. Why? We have not shifted the responsibility for their own safety to them. If they help the local government police and state police, they are the safety.